I think we're back. All right. Now, closing system.
Yeah. All right. So, like I said earlier, this, in my opinion, is the most protected main pin system on the market today. It's not anything that we should be alarmed about. There's nothing crazy here. People have been doing something similar.
Probably going to be
There
a
you
little
go, thank
better
you.
for everybody.
Some people have been doing something similar for quite some time with regular plastic and grommet side flaps. So we've just made it so that the design facilitates this type of closing system, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull the pilot chute out. I'm gonna pull the pin so you see the pin extract. And then I'm gonna go through how we close it, and we'll go from there, okay? So here we go. So our nub handle has the tab. So the tab is under the bridle cover here. So the tab extracts, handle, pilot chute out, and here we go. So super simple. There's nothing more there than, it's probably less than a grommeted side flap. Thanks, Steve.
No problem.
All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get us sorted out here.
All right, talk us through the closing while you do it.
Yep. All right. So there's a couple little tricks. Nothing crazy, I don't think, but it's enough to where if you do them, it makes it easier to pack the rig. So we went with the closing loop retainer on the reserve wall, which technically allows us a little bit more range with the main container, so you can put a bigger range of parachute in the rig without it being without running out of closing loop length on the bottom flap. So, goes bottom, top, right, left, whatever acronym you choose to remember that with. All right, so first and foremost, when you're putting the main deployment bag in, it's got to be rotated. Make sure that that grommet that the bridle is going through is facing straight up that way, not this way. It's got to go straight towards the reserve or the AAD, okay? So that helps with a couple things. It's going to help you get the bottom down here filled out, and it's also going to push the bottom of the rig and get your bottom corners filled out here. So if you see rigs out there that you're on the plane that are all empty and weird right here, it's because the parachute bag is not, you put a square in a rectangle hole, and it's not right. So, all right. On all of our systems, you have a little space here for the excess bridle. So when I say the excess bridle, it's from the pin to the bag. If you just take that little bite, I usually put a little more in there than I need, and that way it holds it there for me. So while I'm packing, I can just pull out what I need as I'm going. So that right there, start here, bottom flap first. It's important that you take this and get it all the way up, okay? You wanna try and get this as far up as you can. If you can get it to touch the bottom flap, great. It's kind of hard on most rigs, but get it up there as far as you can and hold it there. It's important that you hold that there all the way through the side flaps because you're holding it out of the way of the wraparound corners, okay? So, first thing you'll see me do is get on there like that, hold it in place, top flap. So here's another trick. Go. Everyone wants to pull back towards them at this point. Pull forward and pull the flap, okay? If you do that, you never let this go, okay? And you don't let it relax. So I'm constantly managing that bottom flap. Make sense? Cool. All right, so next is, so I went under the bottom flap, I went under the top flap. I'm gonna pull this out so that my pin is just outside. I'm gonna go under the first side flap, so through the Sigma D-ring, and you're going under, and you're gonna close that one all the way. So what you're trying to do here is get that Sigma D-ring to at least touch the grommet. I try and get it all the way over, but as far as you can get it, minimum is touching the grommet. Then you're gonna go, so important that you have about 2 inches from the D-ring to the end. You need that because you gotta go over the next flap. So far we've gone under, 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 and now we're gonna go over. So hold that in place, and instead of going this way, we go this way. Straight down through, like that. Now watch, this is the tricky part. Pull tension and just give it a snap, okay? And you see this exposed loop right here? That's where you're gonna put your pin. Right there, okay? So watch how I do this. You have to support the pin, all right? If you don't support the pin properly, then it's gonna make it hard. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go shoot for that hole in the closing loop, aim for the Sigma D ring right here, and let those be your guide, okay? So the ring touches that D ring, and then you're simply gonna push the pin and release your pull-up cord. And that pulls the pin and allows it to sit there. When you pull your pull-up cord out, shore up the pin so it doesn't pull it back on you, and away you go. So, another little thing here is that the pin is sitting on the binding tape here, okay? It's being pulled that direction, but it gives something for the pin to rotate on as well. So obviously you don't want to jam that all the way up in there. We've done a bunch of tests. We've never had it lock up on us, but clearly if you can get it just like that, you're good. And then stowing the bridle is super clean as well. So you take your first fold here. I'm coming down from the bottom with both, by the way. And that can go right inside here. And your window is right there, ready to go.
There we go. Got this. There
So,
we go.
and close it up. And away you go. One thing to note that when you're packing the main pilot chute, rather than being this tight little...
Hold on. Let me get back here a little bit. I can't see so much very well
Sorry.
here. You all right?
So if you look at the BOC pocket, it kind of fills that whole bottom flap, right? So what you want to do is you want to pack the pilot chute flat and wide so it fills the pocket. Okay, you don't want to pack it a little tiny sausage all the way down here when you have this entire pocket, and it allows everything to come out nice and clean as well. So when I pack these, I actually pack it so that it fills the pocket.
Yep.
Okay, it also makes a nice clean finish when you're done versus having this big old thing hanging out down here.
All right. Anything else you want to look at as far as the closing system is concerned? Other people's concerns about other packing issues that they've discussed with us? They've show them how difficult it would be to misroute the pin.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep. So we're going to do a couple little things just to show you.
So this is just such an awkward angle for everybody. Sorry, guys.
So just like anything we do, there's ways to fuck shit up. And I've yet to find one that I can mess this thing up and actually cause anything bad to happen. That's not to say that it can't, but I have yet to find one that is a viable concern.
It sounds like a challenge.
So, there's all different kinds of ways you can mess it up, but it won't stay in a messed up way because as soon as you move the rig, it's going to want to pull the pin. So there was a concern about the double looping the pin, I guess you'd call it, or getting the pin through the Sigma D ring. So right there, just like I showed you before, let's just mess around with the pin a little bit. Let's just see how hard it is to do something bad, okay? So let's say I get the pin in, right, like that, and I go through the...
It's hard.
It's
hard to
really
even do it.
difficult to do. You have to forcefully be doing something bad, okay?
You have to purposely do it.
So,
wrong.
there's that. Now, I'm going to even pull my pull-up cord out and see how it looks. Okay, so I had to have clearly done something wrong there. All right. So now let's just see what happens when we pull it. Oh, look at that. I even did it wrong and it still worked. Now, I did it wrong and it probably wouldn't want to, you'd probably have someone doing a pin check, I would hope, and fix that for you. But that's one example. But again, it doesn't prevent anything from happening. It's not a container lock.
Right.
I don't even know what else we did. There were so many dumb little things that we tried that we couldn't get it to make.
Well, it was just we couldn't get the pin to hold and try.
Yeah,
to
you
make
can't
it,
get
it
the
would
pin-
automatically just slide out because it was incorrect.
Right. So it's very difficult, and it would have to be extremely deliberate to do it. Misrouted badly. So, I'll show another one more time for everybody.
See if I can't come from this direction.
Remember, try and just get them to touch. Get that D-ring to touch the grommet.
Over top of the last flap. That's the only change in sequence.
What were we trying to do?
And we tried doing a million things.
Yeah, so that probably will just end up pulling
That's
and
gonna
going
pull
into
it
regular
in.
to the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to be, right?
Right.
So, I mean, clearly there's ways that you can maliciously mess it up, but
Like
with a little bit of education and a little bit of training, minimal, this video, you should be able to pack it fairly simple.
and you can still pack it on top, right?
You can. Let's go ahead and show that as well. If you do want to pack with the pin on the top of this, you are going to have to shorten the closing loop by about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Because as you'll see, once I pin this, it's going to allow the side flaps to just open up a little bit more because the lack of the second or the over the top routing. But that is how you would do that, and just as pin protected as a normal rig with grommet side flaps.
And just lose a tiny little bit of the low profile.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you would, yeah, exactly. A little this.
That pops up just a little.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. What else? What else we got? We got anything else?
No, I think that should do it. That's the end of the show and tell portion.
All right. Let's get back here.